Hi guys, welcome again. This time I'm coming to you with two crazy games. The first one is with our good friend Olympia Night. Olympia by Night looks so beautiful that you'll be tempted not to play it, of course, as one of the users pointed out in the recent video, and I kinda do agree with it. Usually the A side on paper looks stronger, the day side, but in this video we're still playing the B night side, and both of these games are highly rated arena games. This is when I was pushing for top 1 basically. I ended up in top 10 and decided to rest for a second while I test a lot of crazy builds, and of course I'm not going to use arena for that. I'm using just normal matchmaking with good players for that. But without further ado, let's start. So this is a B game. We can see Alexandria. Alexandria right now it's typically played on B still. It was nerfed, but there are some stuff that actually buffs it. For example, it doesn't need stone anymore, so it's easier to play for red. Also, a lot of people are foregoing grace, so this stage is actually pretty good. The fact that you can reliably play it all the time. The A side is kind of good for science play, but I don't think for much else. Like, I haven't yet seen someone do very well with it, just because actually this stage is hard to play right now with the A side. Ephesus can do whatever it wants, basically, but usually in a situation like this I would expect green play on the night side, and Giza can do whatever it wants with the side too. I think both are playable, but in this situation I will expect B and night side and a lot of resource play. So let's go. Have I pushed recording button? Yes, I did. Okay, so we got Timberyard. This is good. Duels are still very good. Trading post is something that's very important for Ephesus in some of the lines that it wants to play. Other than that, it looks like kind of a green hand, so not much else other than Lumberyard and buffs. Duels got picked. Now, on this hand, I like first pick, you never know if Alexandria is going green or not, but after a duel and after a lumberyard that we just passed, it's safe to east trade into Alexandria, as it should have a lot of resources. The way this is going, I thought this guy will still be in green. I could snatch some resources, I could leave some resources to them, but still have access with the trading post. Giza should be a little screwed, so probably like a red push in the first era, or I don't know, something weird, maybe blues or something. Then in the second era I can just, play for like 3 shields, win red here, get a bunch of points or whatever no one is doing, maybe push red and win that way. That was like my strategic plan going into this. Why I'm playing it so much? I think these picks matter a lot, and there is almost everything. Like, I wouldn't press and I wouldn't apothecary, but other than that, everything is possible. Guard tower looks actually worse than stockade on this hand, I think, just because we passed lumberyard, but other than that, everything looks playable. But I just thought East trading looks pretty good. What East trading naturally combos with tavern, we are never going to get that, but that should be okay. Here, a lot of excellent stuff, like all the cards that we would probably want to splash, but Orvane is doubled here and we needed to build our first wonder in the first era. And also we like having one ore. Okay, so here Claypool would let us build this cheaply. It's a decent consideration. Pawn shop, we wouldn't mind splashing. I wouldn't glassworks. We have access to every gray right now and we are not planning a heavy gray strategy by any means. But I thought that I will choose barracks just because there is a danger that I will actually lose the reds, and I don't want that happening. I want to play at least one red in the first round when I'm playing Olympia Night. That was my assumption, at least for now. Maybe it will change with time. So here, first weird hand, a signal that no one is in green. I'm actually going to bury Scriptorium now, not Workshop, because I wanted this guy to be in green. My East trading is good enough with what it is, like access to these free resources, one chip is good enough for me. So I actually wanted this guy in green. I think I passed a press, so he can Scriptorium or Workshop. I'm giving him a chance, whatever he wants to do, just because I don't want to be a guy in green right now, but it was worth considering maybe to play it if we had one more gold. The press was actually here, so I misspoke, but it's okay. Here we are just throwing. We do not have like much use for the press. This guy won't buy it off of us very much, so just throw whatever, because there is no Halicarnassus in this game. Okay, going into H2. After H1, let's first look at it. So everyone drew on red, nobody is in green. This guy decided to push, so the green is actually open, but you know, everyone sees that the green is open. So here he still has a very good position to push for green. This setup lets him pay 2 for for library. School is free, laboratory costs 4, but he can make it cost 0 with just 1 double clay. What else? The last is the compass, but it's pretty expensive for him right now. Okay, this hand, a lot to analyze. As we can see, our first stage let us be very flexible. Obviously, what jumps out here is one of the reds. That's, I think, the strongest cards in this age right now, and everybody will be fighting for reds. That makes them very weird, because if we like establish a lot of reds quickly and our neighbors won't buy them, then we are very strong. But if we get into a bidding war with one of our neighbors, it can be very bad. So playing one is usually okay. What saddens us is that there's 2 of them, so the next one will probably won't be coming, and the last one that we can reliably build, so the stables, like all of them have cheap access to the stables, and I'm probably thinking about building it as well. So I decided to go for Caravanserai. It fixes our second stage. It basically fixes a lot of our resources. Maybe we won't need much else if we play this. Okay, so here is a very interesting pick. Seeing this hand, this guy, like if he sees it, it will be crazy for him to be in green. I decided to bury something from this hand. I think I've buried Foundry because I realized that he's hard pressed for ore. That's what I did. But it's important to keep in mind that if we buy this right now, we are getting a free green on last hand. So we can actually really easily splash green. He's pushing for red, he was pushing for red, very understandable. We do not need Forum actually, I think. Statue will just give us more points over the course of the game. We are leaving a lot of resources, but nothing we can do about that. Burying or throwing another Foundry would be too much of downplay for this guy, and it still doesn't set him that far. So they actually end up getting into the bidding war. He can either pass us the red on the last hand or build it himself, but it gives him nothing for, like, no immediate points other than, you know, 1. But just throwing a card give you 1 point also. Here, a lot of possibilities, and by a lot I mean either lab or dispensary. There are two labs, two dispensaries and only one lab. That's why I decided to go for lab. And also I didn't want to give him lab in case he was suddenly trying to go for green. But that doesn't make much sense probably, because, you know, if he is going random green, then whatever. He will probably brickyard from this hand anyway. So laboratory here. He is actually pushing for triple red here. We actually get the dispensary, so a little rewarded, but temple is also one worth considering. At this point I was like, my resources are too bad to consider playing like a normal first stage, so I actually need a lot of discounts, a lot of free builds. That's why I decided to go with dispensary. He is going the random green, which, considering what we are building, I consider a little random. I don't know what I would probably go for school if I was offered the chance, but it is tough to decide. Obviously we are building library here and just saving 2 gold. Overall right now we saved a total of 3 gold, so not that much, but you know, there is still third age. And, you know, a lot of flexibility. That's what Night is all about. So here we are actually saving 6 gold. That's quite a lot. Pantheon is, of course, excellent. We are getting it away from this guy. That's also very nice. So a total of 9 gold right now. So this stages are now looking like 9 gold, 5 points, which makes it pretty good. And what's more, it actually, you know, let us do everything. Like, even if we had no access to this, we would still like be able to do that. This is a very important hand, and I think I make a good decision on this one. There are actually 2 cards that I think are worth picking. The first is Spice Gold, the second is Town Hall. I just go for Town Hall because I had no idea what this guy will do. And I needed like 2 reds to accommodate for Town Hall. And potentially it's worse for like Svidric and Gladiatore. But I think those picks are so close that I'm not even going to discuss it further. But why this is the picks? Basically, we are using our last stage to build either Academy or Scientist Guild. So on the last pick, we will ideally Scientist, but we wouldn't mind Academy. So we are trying to still get the University, which will be free for us, and one of the cogs. One is free, the other one costs us 4 gold, which is not that terrible. So here I think I picked Town Hall. I don't want to go into Red War. I'm like not prepared to do that, and it would be very random for me. What's important is that we are leaving the green cards. When you think about it, there are 28 cards in the pool in each era, and there is actually 6 cards for green. With the guild that we already see, there are 7. So there are picks, like considering that, for example, this guy cannot play Haven, so that's like 9 cards that he cannot play. This guy cannot play the Arena. It's already played, but you know what I mean. Like there is just so much cards that are bad for them. Here, this is, I would say, maybe a little lucky. We get Magistrates. It's crazy expensive, but also crazy good for us. We are still prepared to let University go and stuff like that, because we can still, you know, do some other stuff also. Like we are still trying to make their picks as bad as possible, but I wouldn't mind picking Observatory from this hand. I think that would also be a decent play. So he's actually, you know, trying to screw us a little. We are a little lucky here again. That the spread is that Study and University are on 2 separate hands. and this guy doesn't seem to be intervening with us too much. We are ahead by a lot, but we are losing fights for sure. And this guy went crazy into red, as something that we could not anticipate, I think. But from my experience, it will happen a lot when players are frustrated that they're not getting points and they're like behind. They will push crazy red sometimes. Usually you end up on last place, so I don't know why people are doing it, but it happens a lot. So this guy actually, I think he got something here with how he played. There was actually Lodge still, and given that we saw Academy, I think we were safe to complete it. But I'm thinking if the Magistrate was too dangerous in this game. Maybe it was. Maybe we should have played the Observatory. Hard to say. Hard to say. So here, obviously, University. From last hand, we will be able to finish. So, 3 red cards to get 12 points. So each was worth 4. So that's actually not that bad, maybe. And here we finish with Scientist Guild. So in the end, the Wonder gave us 12 gold and 5 points. I would say that if there was a Wonder that would give like 12 golds, 5 points, that would be amazing, actually. And in the end, he doesn't even get the points because the crazy red is here also. Probably nothing better to play. So in the end, he's last with the red push, unsurprisingly. Svidric actually didn't do too well. He was forced to play like Haven on last hand. I don't know if he was forced to throw at some point. But in the end, this looks like, I don't know, 6 cards per resources, I would say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry. 1 bad card. On the other hand, we are doing pretty amazing here. With just, I would say 5 cards. But we had 1 throw. But I think like the green push was very well realized. And this is one of the wonders that you can actually do this. Like when no one is in green, you can actually do this just because of these abilities. You can switch your strategy just because you don't need a lot of preparation, and you can do actually red-green, I think, with this wonder as well. I haven't been able to do that, but I was very unlucky with my recent games. I do not get any Olympias. I really, but I'm trying to right now get a lot of Olympias A, so I can show you the other side as well. Okay, so there is also a second crazy game. At some point, I don't know, I've heard some people say that they can play Colossus for 4-player in their sleep, and I can kinda agree. Colossus is usually a bit boring. You've probably seen a lot of my videos where I try to do something else with it. But like Colossus is also, I think it got like buffed just because people do not like they are trying different stuff, and they are not like Colossus is bad when you cannot stop a green guy, when there is like 1 green guy going, but there's usually 2 green guys or like 0, and then Colossus shines or like gets second place. And it's also bad when 2 of your neighbors are pushing crazy red, because they are usually be able to do it faster than you, because your resources are so weird for the second era. But both of those things are happening very rarely, so Colossus is actually pretty decent now. But still, let's see this game. I pick Timberyard. There is a lot of doubles. One thing to realize is that I won't be able to get 3 stones just because my neighbors didn't pick excavation, but the opposite player did. Like this is like 2 important things are happening. This is away from me, so I will be forced to pick double stone. And the second one is that the clay pit is actually near me, so I do not need to pick Orvein for myself, but if my neighbors pick Orvein and I pick Orvein, I'm covered for this. So here I decided to go for buffs. And once again, this is a highly rated arena game. Both of them are. Here I just went altar. A little bit of explanation. Stone Pit I explained before. No use for me. Trading post. This guy has trading post already to me, so I doubt he will do a lot of resources. That, like, maybe he will do them, but not fast enough that that they are used to me. I already have access to Loom, so no intention of going for it. And marketplace, that's kind of okay because I expect this guy to have a lot, but at the same time I'm not planning on using a lot of them, and I'm not gambling on having Caravanserai, because I think both of these guys will be highly interested in Caravanserai. That makes it almost like 25% that I will get it. That's not enough for me, so I'm going altar. Here, Orvane, I think that's premature. I explained before, like 3 is no use to me. I need 4, so I can play Orvane if one of my neighbors play Orvane first. Lumber is decent. That's actually pretty nice, but not crazily nice, I would say. But there is also barracks, and I wanted to make sure that I'm actually in red from the first round. I expect this guy to be in green, actually, as you can see. It's challenging for him because he didn't get a press early. This guy, honestly, a puzzle, like always, Olympia. He's trying to get a lot of yellow, I guess. And this guy just resources, fighting for red here, stuff like that. So I expect this guy maybe can go crazy red. I want to be able to win both reds, or at least win red here cheaply. So pawn shop, I don't want to help him with press. That will give me some gold and maybe some stuff, but I don't want to make his life easier. Without the press, he is really depressed. I'm going there again with the butt pan. And here he played Orvane, so I can play Orvane. I'm very happy. First round, pretty crazy, a lot of blues. I very rarely play that much blues, but that's fine. So here there is stables, but what's important for me is quarry. This guy, for a reason unknown to me, played the stone pit. If he doesn't get Caravanserai, he still needs to play one quarry. He might play it even from the first hand. I might not get it. I need it really much because it lets me do this. It lets me stop him on green. Other than that, stables is very nice. I could consider forum, but it's pretty expensive right now. I couldn't consider brickyard because I have no bricks right now. And as you can see, this is kind of happening. Like this guy is setting up his resources. He's putting reds. He has a lot of gold. He can actually play all of them. He has trading to both of us, and the first one was free for him anyway. So here I decided to not go into a red war. Walls is actually pretty hard for him to build, so I went aqueduct. And of course, I wanted to be able to bury, but burying from this is pretty bad. If I was to bury, I would bury school, but he actually, has a hard time getting it, and he still needs to make a choice. When this hand comes back to me, then I can bury. Okay, so here again, double green, so no need in burying. I think I've played Glassworks from this hand. Doesn't excite me that much, but it's actually something that he might pay me for. He won't, but I might need to be able to do something like that. It actually finishes my resources, and with a possible double brick, let me play all the 7 and 8 point blue cards, just paying 4 to him, that's okay enough for me. And I'm actually making sure that he doesn't get it. So here I was considering training, and I believe I even clicked it. But in the end, I will go statue. I'm just, trying to get the points. This war is winnable, but it's also risky because I might still lose it. So I didn't want to push it too much. I have no idea what he will do in the third age. 4 is still better than 3. And I he can waste a pick for red for all I care. Yeah, there is the switch. And as you can see, he is going crazy red. I was very happy about that. Here, I think I should go temple. But bazaar is worth considering. My resources are bad and I might need gold. I wouldn't mind either of them, to be honest. I think I went temple though. And as you can see, I've played 6 blue cards in the first 2 ages. That's crazy. What was scaring me a little is that his green guild would be crazy strong. As you can see, this guy not much in contention right now, but we will see. I don't remember actually how he was doing in the end. He actually gets Scriptorium, and funny thing about Halicarnassus, it can, rise as the phoenix from the grave. He was doing pretty poor for what all we know in the first two rounds, but a good green spread, and he's actually at 6 green after 2 ages, which is amazing always. Because of this, and I analyzed where my opponents are, I thought actually that the double bricker haven't made it to me, so that was a bit sad. That's why I cannot play Palace for 4. This hand, what jumps out is Trader's Guild, but I was afraid that I will never get the gold back, and I won't be able to build it. And this is a pretty important stage for me right now, because it lets me play, it lets me free shield. That's why I'm still his red is pretty bad right now. It's not actually because of this guy, but I expected him to play at least 1 red. But with 2 reds, he can suddenly win here and do a lot of bad stuff to me. Then, if I start seeing him going for red, I can actually counter with this. So I decided to use this hand. It has nothing here also, so I decided to bury it. I don't think that was the best play. Probably. Just because, as you can see, Palace is only buildable by him. It cost him 4, but it's still he's the only one that can build it. I can build it as well, but I don't imagine it coming back. There wasn't much else also on this hand, so I don't know. Hard to say. I think it is not a bad play, but a bit sad that that's how the Palace will end up in his hands. But that's because none of us are playing Grace, and that's how the meta looks right now. He's of course in terrible position, across a green player. That's always hard. But what you can do actually is try to stop the green player. If he has not enough green, then he will do something else. If he can do pure green, then he will do pure green. Here I get 2 good picks. Pantheon is better just because of the decorators. Also, Pantheon is really good for him. There is also University here, but that's okay. When it comes back to me, I do not expect to get a pick, honestly. Probably everything will be picked. So here, just Senate. It's just not bad. And as you can see, there is like so much blue. Here I have enough gold that I don't need to play Haven, and there is not another Haven, so scratch that. But that's just, you know, more points, and I have 4 gold, which should be enough. Of course, Palace doesn't make it back to me, but Traders does. He wasn't able to play it from the first hand. That's also something worth considering. Another red doesn't strike me as good enough. And of course, last hand, I just throw. In the end, he was able to build everything. And right now, it was not looking good in the last hand. As you can see, he has this. And he's forced to build this, except he can't. Because, you know, Stone Pit, it's not good enough. You need the double still. And if I pick Quarry early, they do not pick it. He doesn't get Caravanserai, he cannot build it. This pick was probably terrible. I don't know if he doesn't realize or what. But I need him to play red, because if he doesn't, then this guy gets crazy amount versus me for just playing 1 red. But he does play the red. So in the end, he does play red, but you know, I still win. Barely, but I do still win. And I think it was pretty decently played on low resources. A lot of like 8 blues. That's crazy. Some nice decisions, some nice picks. Something to consider, like you know, when you are in this position, play some, like, hide some greens, or I don't know, play a set of greens, just to, you know, make this guy steal some of our points with reds, or with something else. Because if you are playing a game like this, it's especially hard against this player, because he gets all the picks from the green guys, he gets access to the grays, and you are just sad here. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you later. Bye!